Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. My name is Cindy. Thank you so very, very much for being here. I always appreciate the support, the comments, the subscribers, new and established. Thank you all. So you'll see I'm in a slightly different environment today. This just happens to be where it's more convenient for me to get this video recorded. And because of it, you're not going to see the cards. I'll hold up the applicable ones. But for those of you who've been watching me long enough, you know that most of the messages are intuitive as opposed to literal translations of the cards. So that's where we're at today. That's what we're doing. But the reason I wanted to get this video done, as I'm getting it done, is because I think it's really, really important that everybody take a big breath and step back a little bit. I want to take a look at what's going on with the Republican Party. Like, what is their future? What is going on with them? Interestingly enough, the other day I heard that Mitch McConnell is furious with Trump because he feels that Trump is responsible for leading this party, to this place where there's all these like crazies all over the place, right? Running around and, espousing theories that everybody knows is crap. And, well, you know, I guess that's fair, except for the fact that he had two, okay, and for sure one really, really good opportunity to rid the party of Trump with that second impeachment. I get the first one. Okay, I don't approve of it, but understand it. He had an agenda, and he had stuff, McConnell, and he had stuff he wanted to get done. But by the second impeachment, he'd stacked the courts, he'd gotten the tax breakthrough, he'd done it all, but he spineless, and he didn't. He could have got the party to stand behind the impeachment. He didn't do it. So you know what? Don't complain if you have a brat in your family because you never bothered to discipline him. You can be mad at Trump all you want, buddy, but you should probably look a little closer to home to see who else is incredibly responsible for what has happened to the Republican Party. And I'm no fan of the Republican Party. So now, so we just had those primaries, and some really crazy out there lunatic type of right wing people apparently have now won their primaries. Now, in some cases, just breathe, because it's a good thing, because when they go up against a rational Democrat, even in red states, as Kansas taught us, they may not actually stand as good a chance as they think. I saw something really, really interesting. I think it was on MSNBC. So they did a generic poll in Arizona, okay, which is where that Carrie Lake just won her primary. I don't know if they've announced it yet, but I'm sure they will. I mean, hopefully, maybe something changes and she's at least not, but anyways, I digress. Anyways, it was really interesting. It was a generic poll, and it was like, okay, do you want a Republican or a Democrat like government? And it was 48 to 43 in favor of the Republicans. Okay. The second question: are you likely to vote for a candidate that is pro choice versus no choice? 60% of people in Arizona said they are far more likely to vote for a candidate who is pro choice. Think about that for a minute. That is a huge statement. What it means is that the abortion issue is going to be one of the major front and center issues of this upcoming election, particularly as stories continue to come out about the horrors that are happening, because you have doctors who are now forbidden to to practice certain medical treatments. And, so when Roe was overturned, I very clearly said, "Oh, they don't know who they pissed off. They they don't understand the power and the force of female rage. And to be perfectly fair, male rage. Okay, because there's a lot of men out there who are going, no, 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 this is absolute crap. Um, I do not want these kinds of restrictions put on my wife, on my daughter, on my girlfriend, on whatever. They poked a sleeping bear, and honestly, they really should not have. But that was Mitch McConnell. That was his Republicans. He wanted that, and so again, you don't really get to complain if along the way you get some Carrie Lakes and some whoever else is out there that just Dr. Oz, whoever else is out there singing the Looney Tune. But my question right now is, what is the future of the Republican Party? Now, I have to share with you, I think it was yesterday morning, I decided that this was sort of the topic of a video I wanted to do. And as clear as a bell, I heard the words, "You are witnessing a dinosaur die." In some ways, that encapsulates, I'm sure, what's going to be the whole reading. Let's see. I can't say come on down, but we're good. Okay, so future Republican Party, future Republican Party, future Republican Party. Oh boy. Okay. They're starting off with the Five of Pentacles. So literally, they are out in the cold. They are out of touch, and they are going to continue to go down a pathway that is farther and farther, unfortunately, out of touch with what the vast majority of Americans want their country to be like. Don't forget, you're only dealing with like 25% of people who really, really think that sort of the Magna attitude is the best way to go. Now, granted, there's a huge number of Republicans, something like 69%, who actually still don't believe that Biden's a legitimate president, but they're out in the cold. They put themselves in a position where they are so out of touch that they are being. They signed, honestly, I want to say they've signed their own death certificate, right? They've just done it to themselves. This is about shooting themselves in the foot. Not surprisingly, followed by the Empress card. They have tackled the wrong issues. They have ignited the people that they most want not to be ignited. Democrats are, kind of casual. And because of that, they never really got hyper excited about the whole Roe versus Wade thing. As far as they were concerned, it was established law. There was really no need to get all excited about it until it was reversed. And now all of a sudden, all of those people, male and female, are saying that right there is a step too far. We tolerated it when you gutted, um, voting rights. We tolerated it when you did this and did that, but enough. Enough is enough. So they have really, really, really fired up a huge group of people who are not going to put up with this. And the judgment, when it falls, is going to fall harsh and heavy. It's not going to be kind. At the base, you have the King of Pentacles. So one of my trump cards. And this is talking about sort of the poison that he unleashed. All right. Now, it's not like the Republicans were sort of virtuous and amazing prior to Trump, but what he did was he removed any element of shame. He removed any constraint. Okay. He made it so that you could do whatever you wanted, say whatever you wanted, be whatever you wanted, and it was going to be just fine. What Republicans are going to find out, particularly those who are real mega um, followers, is that he's going to be in so much trouble that they're going to have a very, very hard time disassociating themselves from him, his words, his teachings, and his attitudes. Okay. So a lot of those people that thought that that was the wagon to hitch their star onto have really, really made a tactical error. And they're going to find that their funding isn't there. They're going to, I mean, listen, it's not going to dry up and go away completely, but the mom and pop donors are going to start diminishing on them, and they're going to really, um, who is that guy? There was a guy that was Masters, I think, and maybe Pennsylvania, but I could be wrong. He was primarying a guy named Peter Myers, who was one of the Republicans who voted to impeach Trump. And Myers lost, not by a lot, but he lost. Um, he is, I'm pretty sure it was him who was like almost completely financially backed by some big wig with a lot of money. Okay. So what I'm saying is on a more grassroots level, they're going to start finding that things are diminishing. Now, the Trump the Trumpers are the Trumpers, and they're going to be the Trumpers. But the rest of the Republican Party, those who see themselves as Republican, um, are going to start really, really questioning what values the Republican Party does or does not have. They don't have an agenda. So they're going to feel that contraction. They made their deal with the devil, and now they get to play in the devil's play yard. I mean, it's as simple as that. They are in trouble. They are going to be viewed as that party that really, really took a wrong turn. And listen, they can only blame so much of it on Trump. They can't blame all of it on him because they had their opportunities, they had their choices. What you just saw with that toxic burn bill is exactly what you're going to see going forward. They're going to continue to force themselves down a road that honestly the vast majority of them don't even agree with, but they become so spineless that they're not going to argue. They didn't not approve the burn bill because they didn't approve of it. They did it as a political stunt. And all that happened was that backfired in their face so fast and so hard. Wow, really not surprising they had to reverse course. And you're going to see a lot of that where more and more people are just saying, you know what, we've had it with you, and we've had it with your political stunts, and we've had it with your tactics, and now you are going to start feeling our wrath. Either change your way or lose our support. The problem is, they are so far entrenched that they don't know how to come out of defensive mode. Okay, they don't know how to do anything but have this defensive strategy because they don't have an agenda. Apparently they no longer have sort of any moral compass. They don't have solutions. They just have complaints. There has to be a balancing. There has to be justice. There has to be a reckoning. We're traveling that far down a dark path, and that is what is coming. You're going to see overall that which the Republicans tried to steal and bully, and we don't care how we get there, we're just going to get there. You're going to see blocks coming up all over the place. I see the Department of Justice is now suing, I think it's Idaho, because of their um, abortion ban. You have the Department of Justice now, subpoenaing Cipollone for the grand jury. And there is a lot going on where you are now finally seeing this forward movement. Added to that, the fact that I wish I had the list because I heard somewhere the list, and I got to say it was pretty impressive. It was sort of the things that the Biden administration has accomplished, like literally in the last like 10 days or so. It was huge. All these different things that they managed to accomplish despite the crazy going on. Biden's approval rating is starting to creep up. That's going to continue. We always said they were going to be strong enough by time the midterms came around that they were going to hold the Senate and gain and hold the House. And now all of a sudden, all of these commentators who have been saying for a year, forget it, it's gone, it's done, history tells us they're going to lose big time. All of a sudden, they're backtracking and they're going, actually looks like the Dems have a solid chance of increasing their numbers in the Senate and holding the House. Can you imagine what's going to happen when that happens and they have the numbers? They are going to be able to get a whole lot of stuff through. And hopefully, this time they figured out that things need to be codified into law, that things need to not be just the way they've always been. They need restrictions in place to strengthen the foundations or the guardrails of diplomacy. If anybody thinks that people are going to calm down between now and November in terms of their outrage at the Republicans, they are wrong. Okay, they are going to continue to come under fire. And once the midterms really start gearing up, as we go into, September, October, the contrast between what the Republicans are talking about and what the Democrats are accomplishing is going to be really, really noticeable. And that's where you're going to get huge numbers of independents um, calling the shots, frankly. Kansas, look at Kansas. Apparently, um, it was the independent vote that really, really pushed back against them trying to change the state constitution, which would then be allowed to ban abortions. I heard they said something like the number of registrations for that primary had increased by 60%, and the vast majority of them were independent voters. But the Republican membership numbers continue to drop and drop and drop. So what you had was not only previous Republicans who are now switching to be independent, but you had, more importantly, people who were far more casual finally saying enough is enough. I need to get registered. I need to make my voice be heard. That's only going to continue because the Republicans, as they become more desperate over the next weeks and months, are going to become more and more sort of radicalized, more and more extreme, more and more crazy. And the fact is that Mitch McConnell has lost control of his senators, and um, Kevin McCarthy, we're not even sure if he ever had control of the reps in the House. Okay. So they no longer have the ability to rein in um, their members. On Tuesday's midterms, there was a definite slant towards the um, the people that Trump endorsed winning. But you know what? That's a really, really good thing, because if you have 60% of people in Arizona saying, no, 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 if you are not pro abortion or, yeah, like pro choice, I am not voting for you. You have people in Ruby Red, Kansas saying, 60% Not happening. You don't get to do this. These are huge numbers, and this is just a part of that movement forward. You are not going to see them backing down, but man, oh man, you are going to continue to see this increase in energy pushing back. Okay? So, unfortunately, what you have is a Republican Party, as I said, that has signed their own death warrant. They have shot themselves in the foot. And I suspect it's going to take at least two more complete election cycles before the Republicans, first of all, until all of the old dinosaurs in the Republican Party are gone. And the new dinosaurs um, are going to have to figure out how to sing a different song because the one they're singing is not going to work. Don't forget, Trump's an old guy. Now, again, whether he ends up in jail or under house arrest or whatever, you know he's going to be found guilty of stuff. You just do. I mean, it was announced, this is Thursday, it was announced on Thursday afternoon that the Department of Justice is actually looking at indictments against Trump. Okay. He is going to even more so become a caricature of the extreme of the extremes, but he's not going to have any power. At some point, people are going to have to either produce the evidence of these stolen elections, which we all know it wasn't, or they're going to become part of a grouping of people that are simply dismissed, right? You can't offer the proof, we don't want to hear it. People's tolerance for their crap is diminishing. And part of the reason that it's diminishing is because you know what? The rest of us are working really, really hard at keeping things sane. We're working really, really hard at sending out light. And we're working really, really hard at trying to shift consciousness into the higher dimension so that those attributes, compassion, love, inclusiveness, etc., 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 become the norm. And we're winning. Some days it doesn't feel like it, some days it's frustrating, but we're winning. Don't lose sight of that. It's really important. There's always hope. There's always, always hope. And when you see the crazy that is coming out of the right, just tell yourself, this is the death of a dinosaur. And you know what? I don't know. I personally wasn't around when the dinosaurs were, but you got to figure when one of those suckers fell, it probably made a really big boom. And so is this dinosaur. Hang on. Stay strong. Focus on all the good. Because this, no, and this, and this is the future of the Republican Party. May it rest in peace. Have an amazing weekend, people. Take care of yourself, recharge, regenerate, get some rest, bring in some light. Have a good weekend. If you are interested in a private reading, the information is in the Dropbox below. Send an email to soulprint888@gmail.com. I am currently booking the middle of August, so it's a very short wait time. Thank you so very, very much for being here. Until next time, take care, be well. We'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.